All right, welcome back. Today we're going to zero in on just three little words from a tennis pro. Three words that completely shut down a reporter and, you guessed it, kicked off a huge debate. We're going to look at how this one moment really peels back the curtain on the whole messy intersection of sports, politics, and of course, money.
So here's where it all begins. I don't think that is relevant. Just boom. An incredibly blunt shutdown from a professional tennis player at the Australian Open. You hear that and you immediately think, ooh, a line was just crossed. Right. A response like that, so direct, it doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It makes you wonder, okay, what exactly was the question? What did the reporter ask to get that kind of wall put up so fast? Okay, Section 1, Serving Up Politics. Let's get into the inciting incident.
So, this is the reporter's first shot, right? And what's really key here is how the premise is baked right into the question. It's not just asking, how do you feel? It's, how do you feel about this specific situation where people are suffering? It's a really loaded way to frame it.
So that first question got a non-answer, and the reporter tries again but rephrases it. See what's happening here? Now it's not just about politics back home. It's about whether those politics tarnish the very act of representing your country. All right, next up, the players push back. We're going to look at their unified response. So the first player just shuts it down immediately. I don't dabble too much in politics. That's it. It's kind of the classic playbook response, right? A straightforward deflection, basically saying, nope, not going there. And here we have it, the phrase that really blew up. Now, this is different. This player isn't just sidestepping the topic, they're attacking the question itself. They're basically saying your whole line of questioning doesn't even belong here. Then a third player gets even more real about why they won't answer. This one is super interesting because it's not about the politics. It's about a deep distrust of the media's process. It's this fear that no matter what they say, it's just going to be twisted for clicks. Okay, so that's the press conference. Now let's look at the fallout. Section 3, a media critique and the pundit's analysis. Now, this is where it gets really fascinating. The whole exchange gets picked up by a panel, and they immediately challenge the reporter's entire premise. The reporter's question started with, people are suffering. The panel's immediate counter, I think the American people are prospering. I mean, you can't get more opposite than that. It's like they're describing two completely different countries. And the panel didn't stop there. They really went after the reporter's motives. They argued the question wasn't a real question at all. It was just a comment designed to bait the players into saying something controversial. They said the whole point was just to generate a headline, and one panelist even called it a media desperation moment. Ouch.
Okay, moving on. Section 4, the endorsement game. This is where we get to the why. So the big question is, why did all these players give such similar non-answers? Why the stone wall? Well, according to the panel's analysis, it really all boils down to one thing: money.
You see, here's the thing about pro tennis that's different from, say, the NFL or MLB. For a lot of these players, the primary source of their income isn't a massive guaranteed salary, it's endorsements. And when your paycheck depends on sponsors and keeping fans happy, you absolutely cannot afford to alienate half of your potential customer base. So speaking off the top about something so divisive, well, it's just a massive financial risk they're not willing to take.
And then, just as the conversation is getting really interesting, we get this, Section 5, an abrupt pivot, a really sudden shift. I mean, seriously, the whole deep dive into media ethics and the financial pressures on athletes, it comes to a screeching halt. And this table just lays it out perfectly. Look at how jarring this is. One minute, they're talking about tennis press conferences, media bias, player endorsements. The next, they're making picks for the Patriots versus the Broncos. It's such a striking example of how fast a really thorny, controversial topic can just get dropped for something much safer and more predictable, like weekend football. All right, let's wrap this up. The final question. What's the big takeaway here? When you put it all together, this whole incident is really just a perfect snapshot of the tangled web of sports, media, and politics. And maybe the biggest lesson is that in today's world, for an athlete, sometimes saying nothing at all is the loudest and maybe the smartest thing you can do. And that really leaves us with the big question, one that goes way beyond this one press conference. In a world that feels more and more polarized every day, what is the role of athletes in political conversations? Where do we draw that line between the sports world and the political one? Or, should there even be a line at all?